Hello and welcome back to my next garden update. I'll explain a little bit more about the timing when I get into the actual garden walkthrough, but for right now, over this footage of me planting my lettuce, which was before last week's, but it was part of the footage that I just didn't have time to edit together, unfortunately, so I'm going to use that for my backdrop on this. I planted 5 kinds of lettuce, in case you were wondering. A variety of different colors and types that you can see the list of in previous videos. And we'll talk more about as it starts to further germinate. But for right now, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an intro to this week's garden update. It is one day early. I've been doing them kind of all over the place, but my plan was to do them on Mondays, but my Monday has been really busy. It was going to be really busy. I'm recording this today on Monday while I'm editing. So I ended up filming it on Sunday. We had a ton of rain, so there wasn't a lot of time to film throughout the week, and that's pretty much it. I did get some footage of the garden center. I was at Sobeys this weekend or week, I'm not sure what day it was, but their garden center was open, so I decided to go on a little walkthrough and see what they had. They had tons of trees. Unfortunately, this is why it's very important to check the tags. Almost none of the trees they had were hardy to zone 4, which is my zone. I'm adjacent to zone 5, which is where this garden center was. So all of their trees were good for people who live in the immediate vicinity, but I'm about a half an hour out from that, and unfortunately that means it's a different growing zone. It gets colder, and so the trees might not survive, and when you're investing that much money into a tree, you really need to make sure it's going to be able to survive where you live. So just make sure you're paying attention to the tags. Now, when it came to like the fruit and berry bushes, which you'll be seeing now, there was a lot more options, a lot more diversity, and a lot more hardiness. There were cherries that were hardy to zone 4. I'm pretty sure there was 2 types of dwarf cherry tree. Blackberries, raspberry. This thing was called a... Oh dang, I didn't get to see the tag there. But they're like elongated berry that I had never seen before. There were several different varieties of blueberry, of which you will see later that I did get 2 small blueberry plants, many varieties of grape, and there was a couple of strawberries, and there were also currants, and a couple of varieties of blackberry and raspberry. So even if all the plants look the same, as we're checking the tags, I'm flipping all the tags over so you can kind of see the different growth habits and zones are listed on the back of all the tags. So Sobeys has a lot of diversity in their garden center this year. I haven't been able to hit up the superstores ones. I've been to my local, my 2 local small business owned garden centers, and they have also had a lot of variety, and I've picked up some things from them as well, which is where all of my plants up until now have come from. So definitely check out your small local garden centers, not just big box stores, but also the big box stores have a lot to offer, as you can see. So that was great, and now I'm going to jump in to the garden walkthrough, and that will be the rest of this video. So enjoy. Bye. Hello, and welcome to garden update number 3, number 4. I can't remember. We're starting in this spot again because it's the closest to where I am. Everything is popping up. Almost all the flowers are gone off of this now, and it's just leaves. The rose bushes are filling out, and under here I was chopping all these lily of the valley down to move the leaves. Spot I haven't done yet. They are popping up like little alien spikes. If you can see that over there. Not ideal. Those red buds are really coming in. And we'll jump to the berry patch. We've got raspberry canes filling out. The grass is coming in around all of the raspberry canes. We've got new ones coming up the bottom there. This is the currant. Strawberries starting to flower there. These are still alive and doing well. This is fully leafed out. No flowers yet. The blueberry is still not open. None of the blueberries are, so I'm not even going to go over there. This is, the comfrey plant is still growing. I can't tell if any of these are seeds that I planted or not. These are baby raspberry, or a raspberry cane that has fallen over. This is where I'm going to plant the rest of my herbs that I bought in pots. As you can see, I've cut the bottoms out. This is how I do my planters, so that if ever the roots get down, motorcycles going by, there's space for them to go down, and also for the water to really drain. I'm going to get rid of the creeping Charlie in the bottom, but usually I would plant them, recess them a little bit in the ground so these holes are mostly covered so that the roots could go out there as well into the ground if they needed. The chances of them going down 12 inches is unlikely, but for some things they do grow really deep tap roots. So some of those flowers from the beginning, I think they're going to be in the beginning, maybe they'll be in the end. I'm going to plant in here as well. So the varieties of alyssum, which is supposed to attract predator insects, so things that will feed on like the aphids and the sawfly larvae that usually decimate these two bushes. You can see the little flowers are just starting to form on this currant all over it, so that's really nice to see. Oops, tripping. This is still here. No potatoes yet. I gotta check them to make sure they haven't rotted in the ground. I will do that, and I will put a note on the screen and let you know if they're still in there or not. My asparagus is coming up. Oops, hard to see in the shadow. Move to the other side. Ugh. See it there, and there, and there. The grass is coming up. I haven't seen the other new asparagus plants come up yet, so I'm a little concerned. They might not have survived the winter, but I really just have to wait and see. They would only be second year ones, so they'd be really small. But there's so many weeds in here that I'm afraid to weed it because I don't know what might be a baby asparagus. So we'll just wait and see about that. I've also thrown down a ton of sunflower seeds. I'll show you those seed packets. I can pause here and insert the seeds that I have bought. I bought marigolds, nasturtium, sunflowers, and something else that I can't remember, but you'll see it in the footage. So that's pretty much everything going on here. The grapevine's still in a mess. We haven't done anything with that yet. To the next spot is the first nice day we've had most of the week. It has been raining. The ground is very wet, as we got a ton of rain just yesterday, but the rhubarb is loving the warm, damp weather, as is our lawn, which doing a no-mow May is like a thing that people do, but for us, our lawn grows so excessively in some areas more than others that we're gonna have to mow some of it, I think. But this last year's time is really come back. These little things. I still haven't done anything with this pot yet. I don't think any of the chives has sprouted yet. No. I might have to put some water down in there. I sprinkled some dirt on top. The sage is still slowly coming back. So again, I'm blocking the sun, but you can see the fresh leaves there. Pops is already trailing up. There are vines everywhere. This is the stage where you have to make sure they don't sneak out of the pot like this one's kind of trying to do and end up planting in the ground on the side. I really thought this would be more vigorous growth in the mints by now, but they're still just popping up all along the edges. And right there, the sun's working against me today, and the orange bomb's starting to come up. The savory's doing good, and the lemon balm is still just slowly emerging. The lavender still has some new growth on the bottom. I haven't done anything with this thing yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. Everything in the garden beds is starting to grow. There's some lettuce along here. It's kind of hard to see because it's one of the red varieties. Let's see if I see it along there. And then some is growing on the other side as well. This is a volunteer yarrow plant from last year. That's the only thing I've been trying not to weed out. These weeds are the bane of my existence. Every morning I'm coming out and pulling them. They grow these really long roots, and they get really deep down in there. They're a real pain in the ass. Spinach is still coming up. But so far it's not overly exciting. The peas are really starting to come out. The ones on the far side are not so much yet. Same with this side. There's a couple kind of just peeking out, but you can't really see them on camera. Radishes are doing great. This lettuce is also starting, and this lettuce back here, which is red, and it's really hard to see. The oregano's doing well. Haven't planted anything in the back corner yet, and the lettuce that is there is just starting to come up. This is going to be hard to see, but the peppermint is coming up a lot everywhere, all over the place. And the little savory is also doing well. So that's all this stuff. Let's jump to the next location. The daffodils here are all starting to die now. So they're reaching the end of their time, and these flowers, which are just wild flowers, we haven't planted them. I love them. They're such a beautiful shade of purple. They just get mowed over. You can see them all along there. Are coming up in their stead. Down to the trees. If anyone wants to follow the willow update, it's now leafed. That's it. The dandelions are popping up everywhere. The creeping Charlie is fully flowered. Oh, our first forget-me-not. The plum tree. The leaf buds are opening. So that's exciting. It's caught up to the cherry tree, which is also opening. And some of the flowers that I bought, I'm going to plant down here. And I think I might plant some of my borage seed from last year down here. I haven't put my pots down here yet, but I will insert footage of me putting them together. I got them off of Amazon. The ones that I have up in my regular garden are ones that I got from Raised Garden Beds Canada. They're a thicker, more substantial metal, and made in Canada, Canadian company. But for down here, because if you can hear the water, which all the rain we got yesterday, it's flowing very vigorously, and it flooded a little, but not enough to come up over the banks and into the orchard, which it does. So I wanted something that was less expensive, so that if something happened to it, if it rusted and it got ripped up by the water, I wouldn't feel too concerned about. So I got a 3-pack for $70, and they're pretty big. They're 2 feet around, and a foot deep. So they're definitely going to be enough for me to put my vine plants in, but we'll see how they end up working out. The pear tree is also starting to open up just a little, and the big plum tree is not quite up to the other plum yet. It's just starting. Oh, the crows are coming in. They come in every time they see me down here because I feed them usually in the mornings, but I didn't yesterday because it was raining. So this apple tree is doing good. Also, I planted a ton of clover down here because as it floods, it gets a lot of sediment. And so it was just a lot of mud and rock a few years ago. So I just threw down a ton of clover seed, and it would help nourish the trees. That was my thinking. The peach tree buds have not started to open yet. The little baby tree, which is protected by all this fencing, has started to open. This cherry tree is farther along than the other one. This pear tree is, I think, a little farther along than the other pear tree. The wildflowers are really starting to come in. This apple tree is definitely the farthest along. All of the leaves are starting to open. And that is the fruit tree portion of the garden update. You can see here the purple violets. They're bigger than the white ones, but they are also all over the place. Actually, these white ones are very large, maybe just because they have more space to grow. One singular dandelion. You can see the tufts of goldenrod just starting. Those don't flower until really late, but they grow these really big, tall green stalks. In the meantime, that is a wild strawberry. They're everywhere. These are the baby whites that are carpeting the lawn. Blackberries. Leaves are opening. The grapevine is also starting to bud. Lots down there. Hard to see through the fence. Lift up that fence. That fence is there to keep the deer from munching on it. Big difference in this from last time. These were all just little tiny buds. You can see a ton of leaves and flower buds coming in. Same with this. And all down the row. And all down the row. See this one? There's 2 more after this one, but this one seems to be doing the best. Must just have really good soil. That's that. Still waiting to see. Oh, we have some fresh coming up there. I was waiting to see if this survived. I thought it might have gotten too cold down here, but it lives. But I got 2 blueberry bushes, low bush blueberries, which turned out to actually be hybrid. They're not true low bush. In the Maritimes, we have wild low bush blueberries, and they grow very short to the ground, like yay high, and they produce smaller blueberries. They just kind of form like a carpet in foresty areas, and those were the kind of blueberries we had when I was growing up. But that's what I was hoping for. But these ones turned out to be like a hybrid variety. And I was like, they don't spread via rhizomes. So wild low bush blueberries spread via rhizomes. And so they form like a carpet over years. And bush blueberries obviously just form bushes, and you can bend the canes and bury them, and they'll root, and that's how you propagate those. So these ones are just going to be two small bushes. Very like I think my rooster's about to crow. Yeah. Still waiting to see what all these flowers are. I thought these were going to be daffodils, but clearly they're not. There's something else. We also get blue cornflower, not coneflower, in here. I remembered that when I was looking through photos from last year. Here's more lily of the valley popping up. This stuff is such a fucking nuisance. It is a non-native invasive, and in shaded areas it will form a carpet that basically suppresses all other life. So I'm really trying to get rid of it. It was planted here by the previous owners, and I think they had so much planted here that it was kind of maybe mitigated, and also the fact that it does get some sun. You can kind of contain it if it's in bright sunlight because it doesn't like those conditions. But here, this birch tree and this maple tree that are right there, once they leaf out, it's completely shaded. And so slowly it's been spreading outside of its little flower garden patch. You can see my lemon balm popping up there. I was hoping that might trounce it out some, but it's not. So my plan for mitigating it, because there's so much other stuff that grows in here, I can't just put something down like to sunburn it or sun cook it or whatever that's called. I'm just cutting it as it grows up. I'm cutting it. I'm going to cut it every season until it exhausts its root growth, cutting off all of the new leaves. And generally I rake them up and I burn them just to reduce the risk of, oh, look at this violet. It's like a splash color. That's so weird. I've never seen that before. And burn them so they don't risk spreading into the forest, because if they get into the forest, that's not a good situation. So I'm just trying to exhaust them, and we got more of those little ones that look like they're going to be that color here. So that is the garden update so far this year. Look at these ants on this little tree that's growing up, which is also going to have to be cut down. Because we don't want trees growing here. But yeah, so that's the garden update for this week. Today is Sunday, May 10th. Is that correct? Yeah, I don't know. The date will be in the title. Had to do this a day early. I was going to try and do them on Mondays, but my work schedule tomorrow is going to be too much for me to film and edit this to post on Tuesday. So I'm doing it today. All right. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.